Um, Adderall football. Showed you that earlier. The washing machine that was hypnotized to draw, referencing the brand washing metaphor. The dollar bill pyramid. Um, this was actually a distraction from writing FBI, Witness Protection Program. Gun. That was a reference to No Guns Allowed by Snoop Lion. The little Make-A-Wish fraudulent logo. Mountains. Was supposed to represent Intermountain Healthcare. I was hypnotized to draw an NBC logo with 7 points, not the exact same, but still have it censored just in case, because they wouldn't let me draw marijuana leaves, and it was a reference to how I was told that I was going to be able to go on NBC and talk about legalizing marijuana afterwards in the movie. Hypnotized to draw cigarettes. This meant an unsmoked cigarette with no shading meant, leave. Meant I would. The cigarette was supposed to represent my friend, so this meant I didn't want to smoke him. This was supposed to mean I wanted to smoke him or I wanted him dead. Because the cigarette is being smoked. It's a metaphor for killing, but anyways, like I described earlier, they tried to frame me, and this one represented, because with a shading underneath the cigarette, it resembles that of how you would see some of those old school, like murder investigation movies that are in black and white. That's what the shading is supposed to represent. And then Justin Bieber Heartbreaker, that's supposed to be a heart. Ariana Grande is supposed to be a Playboy bunny. Billie Eilish, No Time to Die pocket watch. Murder with Hypnosis. Hourglass meant, time. Cradles, I described that one. Children dying, sexual threats, and exploitation, and also the song. Sail, it's a sailboat referencing the song AWOL Nation. Referencing the song Sail by AWOL Nation, and also a reference to ADHD or ADD. Let's see, and then the bell was supposed to reference Donald Trump, hotel owner, front desk motel, or hotel with a bell. Like when you arrive in a bell, when you arrive in a hotel or motel, they have a little bell that you can ring at the front desk, oftentimes. The bird in a cage. So this was a post-hypnotic suggestion. I described that in a different video. A music note. Let's see. Adore. This was supposed to represent a song that my mother listened to by Guns N' Roses called Knockin' on Heaven's Door. A bomb. I described that one. A heart question mark. Fresh prints, and it's a little hat with looks like could be like feathers or something along those lines. Cross, kind of like Aladdin, a sultan or something like that, but a sultan. That's interesting. Phrasing sounds like assaulting. Cross. A few different references there. This was one that one specific drawing that really reminded me of being of a post-hypnotic suggestion that came from drawing a large cross like this, and it was supposed to reference starving children in Africa, as well as even being slightly altered, and it could look like a puppet, strings and whatever you call those sticks that hold the strings. And then a little angel, and then the song Full Time Cappers by G-Eazy. This had a little bit of an interesting meaning. I was hypnotized to draw a degree and graduation cap because I became certified in hypnosis, right? Little degree, yay, certificate of completion, graduated. But the this also represented. I was hypnotized to think this also represented how the people that I was dealing with were full-time cappers, or in other words, these people were like doctors and psychiatrists, or politicians, some very well-educated and dangerously intelligent people. Tree with a noose knot in a nuclear power cooling tower, to get me to stop drawing trees because it referenced a murder. I was hypnotized to draw a little rat. Also a ticket, admit one, like, reference to movie. So lab rat or experiment. And I was also hypnotized to draw this, thinking about like, because I was hypnotized to draw a rat with a broken tail, and it was supposed to represent broken legs. So I'm gonna actually write that down here real quick, because would be something that wasn't supposed to happen, and they did that to scare me from breaking my legs for medication. Okay, that's a dead person, little flower. So actually that, like, would happen on occasion, basically, like, I think it would be cute when, let's see if I could find an example of a word that you'd be able to make that type of shape, probably in the word angels, as an example. So like the foot stands out the most, and the head, so then those are the tallest, and then that's the base of the body, so that's the head that sticks out, the feet, and then torso is in between. Telephone. Wasn't hypnotized to draw very many of these, specifically when I was in jail, but I was actually hypnotized to deter me from doing that. That was a reference, but it's a reference to being, prevented from being able to make phone calls. TV, reference to how I was told I was going to be able to go on the news and talk about it. Talk about legalizing marijuana with the rapper G-Eazy. This is kind of like you could kind of see a little hand depiction here. Cramping, right? Possibly. This being the back of the hand, and this, yeah, anyways. Regardless, so, yeah, these are the fingers and everything. Curled, but not necessarily, looped around. I actually had, because it required space to draw the loops, so then if I drew the lines too close, I wouldn't be able to draw the ocean waves when I was trying to. And then one of the times it ended up looking like a hand cramping, actually. This actually did happen on accident too, completely. I wasn't even trying to draw ocean waves, in this specifically. But it happened anyways. I was also hypnotized to think, like, roaring 20s. And to, like, it was kind of like a, well, I mean like a roaring ocean wave, or even like a bear roaring, like Bear River Mental Health, and Mama Bear, my mom, roaring because she's angry, about what happened to me. Let me see. So, hypnotized to not be aware of when to draw the curls or hooks at the end. The hooks were supposed to make sure it didn't look like a hand. And this was a reference to a song called Fantasy by Alina Baraz and Galimatias. Because it references waves. And also where it talks about feelings, and it was a made me think about what hypnosis was capable of doing, from the from the traumatizing experience that I've had myself. House, like burn house down, or just a little house. I was hypnotized actually not to draw houses too, but doodles to be murdered by example. So, because it's very unusual and abnormal to include pictures in a death threat letter. It's actually suspicious, so especially considering the circumstances. And then when I was hypnotized to remember all these strange metaphors that I referenced earlier in the video, as well as various other signs of patterns I recognized of hypnosis, and in my handwriting, that also showed up in his handwriting too. So, so this is actually a reference to because I was hypnotized to think of a pitchfork when I drew the Y, because of the curvature instead of two straight lines like I used to draw Ys. And a pitchfork, of course, actually has a little metal section typically, but anyways, regardless, it's a reference to handwriting analysis because of how they taught me, and the metaphor that they used relating how to draw the letter Y so that I would be able to remember what they taught me. And then this one happened on accident too. In an example that I have right here, which was kind of cool because you can see the little letter Y the pitchfork that I drew, and then even referenced from Mind Control by the song by Stephen Marley, with drawing the dot of the I dark, and then this looks like ow, right? Looks like a W, but that's broken legs. Reference to some of the lyrics in one of the songs by Billie Eilish referencing Bad Guy, because they tried to frame me. And looking at the entirety of everything, this is really, really terrifying, to be honest. Then hypnotized to draw a little potted flower, for example. I think that meant Halsey. And then a jester hat with bells. It took me so long to learn how to draw one of those, and I don't know if I would be able to do it again, unless I remembered the instructions with the hypnosis. But I was also even hypnotized to draw this a Tarantu jester with broken legs, which happened from drawing that kind of figure. But anyway, so let's see, I can't remember the specifics on it, but regardless, so then I was hypnotized to think, because sometimes my eyes would just look like this, right, when I dotted them, especially with I ended up circling the top of the eye, but you know, it looks like a match being lit, and think of a gaslight, and to think it referenced a song called Easy by G-Eazy. And you can also notice the pattern where almost every single one of these has a music reference. Nuclear Power, reference to the Billie Eilish song Your Power, which I didn't write. Down, but anyways. So I apologize about the profanity in the background. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately, but it's what it is. Kind of messed me up right there, but let's see. Oof. The hypnosis isn't hitting my ability rate right now, quite intentionally, just to waste time. But yeah, I will be going to bed here fairly soon too. Ending the video very soon. Almost done though. Okay, there we go. Bike, come on, let me ride. And so that's a little two-dimensional bike. This is a more three-dimensional bike that I was shown to draw, and coming up from the design of the Devil's Pitchfork, how I was shown to draw the letter Y. I remember because when I was doing this, I was actually hypnotized. I remember the social worker showing me how to draw the bike when I was in the emergency room on her clipboard. And to think of MK Ultra too. But regardless, I mean, you can see, for example, this. I mean, you can think of whatever you would like. If you put a 2, a variation of the number 2 and a variation of the number 3, or moreover an E, back to back, it creates the bike that she showed me how to draw. So you can see that's the letter E, and then that's the number 2. And then I need a doctor to cover up Adult Protective Services. Eminem, Skylar Grey, and Dr. Dre hat. Okay, so anyways, this was an Adult Protective Services hat, and I was hypnotized to draw this to cover up the. When I wrote APS, standing for Adult Protective Services, on one of the drawings, and then I had to rewrite APS to barely be able to get it to shine through, and I wrote like, then I was hypnotized to think of, you know, like sunshine and things along those lines, if I was going to be able to see the light of day again. And then hypnotized to draw an eagle. Actually just the head of the eagle specifically, I remember. But let me see, oh, some other pictures here. Kite, bow, present, umbrella, clouds, and then puppet. And let's see, so then I also have some more drawings here. So that's the hypnotic seal. How the way that this would work as well would basically be like, I would be, let me see if I can find a really good example. Here it is. So in pen, you can see, some of the drawings are actually very large, exaggerated, compared to these, which are very small. Everything's filled in, but regardless, if I made a mistake in my handwriting, say if I made the mistake here, which I did when I was writing in pen, and I wasn't able to cover up the mistake or write it in bold to make it legible, then I was sensitized to draw pictures over it, like the mountain, for example. There's little Billy climbing the mountain with a hand over his head, which was the metaphor. Another mountain there, pyramid eye, Make-A-Wish, falsified Make-A-Wish logo. Let's see, No Time to Die pocket watch, more mountain, there's a sailboat, and then a bell, and then a crown, a gun, and let's see, this is very, very loud. This is making it extremely difficult. Anyways, just trying to get this done really fast. But the hypnosis is really inhibiting me, and this is extremely abusive. This is extremely abusive. This is despicable. Anyways, so you can see the patterns here. What I was trying to describe was, it's like telling a story or describing a situation. So there was this situation I was describing with, I would write one song that related, like, say, for example, the song River by Eminem, and then, quote a Billie Eilish song that referenced, water rising. And then after that, a quote of what they told me, and then, another song that referenced waves of phone calls. Let's see, because, the Bear River would be flooded with phone calls about me. The song Framed by Eminem. I'm going to have to upload this video on a copy of a backup because of copyright laws. Extremely frustrating, but at least I'll have a copy of it. I'm going to make sure to do that. I'm so freaking frustrated right now. This was not supposed to happen like that, but anyways, so there's all these pictures that you can kind of see. You can see the pattern here. Basically, I would just kind of start with a tangent, and it would be like telling a story, basically, with a series of songs. So, you could see a reference to, No Time to Die being a murder, Bury a Friend, 6 Feet Under, right? Those are all referencing Death Ghost. Then Justice, Lifestyles of the Rich and Hated, Mind Control, Change Your World, Then If Everyone Cared, right? That's basically the concept there. And then just merging all these patterns into a collage. That's what I was hypnotized to do with all these drawings. So when I saw these patterns in John Matthew Earle's handwriting, it stood out to me a lot. I also have another sample here, so this one. And then one of the drawings that I was hypnotized to exclude, this one was actually much more difficult. This is representing broken knees right here. Because you can see that's one knee, that's the second knee. That was supposed to reference, the various different things, but regardless, there's also, a knife I was hypnotized to draw, and various different things. Let's see. The capture picture is all about a previous abusive roommate that threatened me. I was also hypnotized to think of this meant music to be murdered by with a number 2, specifically with red marker to represent the red album cover. I was hypnotized to think of blood and Eminem's album cover of music to be murdered by when I drew the red knife. I was hypnotized to draw on the bus reminder to consume more time so I'd be less prepared for the appointment. The capsule drawing was a reference to an abusive roommate holding a knife up to my throat and crotch, which is why there is a knife and censored picture and a censored picture in the drawing. The censored picture being right here. Let's see. So there's all this stuff. And then let's see. So I mean, I showed the examples. What this would like turn into. I mean, looks like kind of cool. The postcards are really good evidence, especially because one of them is stamped, and you can also see where the denied sticker was peeled off too, which is further evidence, even though the sticker is no longer there, unfortunately. And everything along those lines, everything that I described. You can see remnants of some of the little pictures that were concealed. And then also the handwriting, the before and after samples. So anyways, that's the video. And also how I reference hypnotherapy and specifically being framed with hypnosis. And even referencing the drawing and $300 rent. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. And again, name's Matthew Jester. Have a wonderful night.